what I experience is the reason that we do this spiritual path, why we are called to these more spiritual endeavors, is so that we can have a deeper meaning to life, so that we can step outside of the paradigm that typical culture at the moment is telling us. We've all come here with a divine purpose, traveling on a stream of cosmic dust from the stars into our mother's wombs, born into this precious life. It is no accident that you are here, my love, on earth, in this moment, in this body. You are here longing to find your place, to align with your purpose, to embody your passions and to live into the dreams of your heart. Yet so often we get caught, suspended in the tangle of life, not able to move forward, not able to find solace and comfort in a world that has forgotten the truth of our existence. As we begin to remember, as we peel back the layers, as we come together to uncover our unique gifts and reconnect with our authentic selves, we are able to see another way of being, a new possibility, a different life waiting to be lived. I have experienced on this complicated and wild journey of life that when we connect with the story of our soul, it will show us the magic of this life that we have been missing. It will open a window into the very heart of who we truly are, of who we came here to be, and gives us answers to our ever-asking why. Hello, beautiful souls. Thank you for being here, tuning in today for another really touching episode about bringing dreams to reality and the things that get in the way, right? So many of us are awakening to the illusion and delusion that we live in currently in these times. And we are no longer available for showing up for the life of the rat race and the life that tells us that there's no time to enjoy ourselves. There's no time for us to take care of ourselves, that we have to constantly be busy and doing in order to continue, right, the illusion. And Meaghan is here today because she recently went through a breakdown and has, in the years since then, been reinventing herself and looking at depression, anxiety, ADHD, all the things that so many of us struggle with. And she's deepening into what's her truth, what's her wisdom, how is she bringing her dreams to reality, how is she going to be a stand for something bigger, something better for us all, and really looking into what is the deeper aspect of life, right? We can exist on the surface. We can all join in and pretend it's about money and productivity and getting ahead and trying to come together in spaces that really don't support us, but we have nowhere else to go. And what it takes is really dropping down below the surface, being willing to say no to the things that we feel forced to say yes to, or the things that we feel we have no choice about, right? There's always a choice, always a choice. We just have to be willing to feel a little fiery about some of those choices. So this conversation takes us on a journey of looking at rest and balance, right? So many of us hold the belief that to rest, to take care of ourselves, to slow down, that this is not productive. This is selfish. And yet if we look underneath that, we can see that really we're just caught in a paradigm of seeking love and attention and believing that we need to work for it, that we're not inherently good enough to just receive love and attention without having to go, do. So being willing to look at that is so potent and powerful. We also explore the topic of our inner child, which comes up so often in these readings because ultimately, if we have not explored our childhood wounding, we are just children running around in adult bodies doing the things that our inner child, our little person inside, wants us to do so that we can be safe. This little part of us, it's not concerned about your happiness. It's not concerned about your thriving in the world and you doing the things you love. It's concerned about how safe am I and how can I make the smallest wake in the world so that I can be safe. And the magic of exploring these parts of us and allowing ourselves to actually be an adult, doing adulting in our life is incredibly powerful. And so it's this nuance, right? This dance of harvesting the wisdom of that child because these parts of us are incredibly wise. They hold our gifts. They hold our purpose. And so it's this integration of these parts so that we can be put together adults moving forward on this journey, following our own wisdom and allowing space for God to drop in, right? For the universe to flow through you and allow you to live a deeper life. So before we dive into this episode with Meaghan, I do want to remind you about Ignite Your Intuition, the free program that I offer to help you really tap into your intuition in a little bit of a different way than maybe you're used to. And then also our new quiz, what is the intuitive language of your soul? We all come here, right, with this place inside us that is really connected to our higher self, and it speaks a language. And when you know what that language is, it is so much easier to connect to your wisdom and your guidance. And the quiz helps you discover what that language is. And then there is a program that you can purchase that activates the intuitive language of your soul. So those things are available. There's links in the show notes. I'd love to see you in those spaces. Thanks so much for being here on this journey. Enjoy. Hi, Meaghan. Welcome to the podcast. How can I help you today?
Hi, Sarah. I'm Meaghan. It's nice to meet you, by the way. And I'm here today because I'm struggling with just finding my next step in life, or essentially trying to find my next step toward my dreams. So in 2019, I had a bit of a nervous breakdown at work and I left the workforce to pursue hopefully starting my own business where I own a metaphysical shop. And since then, I've gotten therapy and support and healing and managed to overcome my depression, managed to overcome my anxiety and my ADHD quite a bit in that time and made plans for the future. But at this time, I'm on general assistance, so I'm not making a lot of money and I don't have the money to make an investment in this grand future that I've planned for myself. So I'm just wondering what the next step is and how I can help myself to realize this and gain both financial and visionary standing to make it a reality.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. So I just want to start by really celebrating you and acknowledging you for that really big and deep journey that you said yes to. There are a lot of ways that you could have had that journey go, and the willingness and like this sense in you, like this deepness in you that I can connect into, that I just really want to acknowledge and honor in you.
Thank you.
Mhm. And while you were talking, so the image was this really beautiful image that you were showing me, and it's you from another life. And there's this beautiful crystal ball.
Oh my. I'm sorry. I'm just about to buy my very first one here after this call. So,
Well, thanks for bringing it so I can see it. It's gorgeous. And you're holding this ball and it's just this vibrant, beautiful image of all this green and gold, and you're wearing this cloak and you're looking into this crystal ball. And it's like you have done this in so many lifetimes, my love, that you might not understand right in this minute how it's going to happen, but it's like it's in your bones, it's in your blood, it's just in you. So it makes me feel a little breathless, even the potency of that image that is yours, right? This is you. So follow your dream, follow your heart. Like you are being called, right? You get it. You know this is for you, even though you don't understand how.
Oh, yes. The call is quite loud.
Hmm. Yeah, so I'm going to follow that a little for you and see where it wants to take us. So you're showing me a tarot card and it's the Four of Swords. Let's say, are you familiar with the tarot?
Yes, that's actually one of the main parts that my business is going to be centered around, is doing tarot and oracle readings. So,
So it would make sense that you were speaking to me in tarot cards. Yeah, so it's the Four of Swords. It's from the Rider-Waite deck. And to me, that is about, right, being grounded for stability and then resting, like really nurturing and resting and finding a foundation on which to grow from. So I know you've done a lot of work already, yet there's this call from your soul of being really tired. And so when I share that with you, what's your relationship with that and your tiredness, your need for rest, where you're at right now?
well, at the moment, I guess I would call myself impatient. So I don't rest all that much. I'm impatient to reach my goals. So I'm very focused. I'm very busy. I'm practicing a lot and engaging in lots of different master classes to try to learn about the modalities that I want to present. So I would say I'm not all that restful lately.
Yeah, and I get that, right? The excitement, the drive, the feeling that you want to move forward and that there's this calling inside you that is alive and wants your attention. So, what you're showing me in there is a scale of how this is the training ground. This is the place where you get to learn how to balance this growing business and the path forward of that, but also nurturing your soul in these deeper ways at the moment. So the world wants to tell us that the way that we make anything happen is by doing, doing, doing. And we can get really caught in that. And we can enjoy it, right? We can even love all the things we're doing. Yet we can be so busy that we get caught in the frantic energy of if I don't do, if I pause, if I wait, then opportunity is going to miss me. And yet, what I experience is the reason that we do this spiritual path, why we are called to these more spiritual endeavors is so that we can have a deeper meaning to life, so that we can step outside of the paradigm that typical culture at the moment is telling us. We're so distracted, we're so caught up in everything that we're missing this deeper aspect to life. And those of us that are on this journey, I think this is part of what our soul is yearning for, is this ability to just be, to just sit, to just rest, to be in communion with divine source in a different way. So when I share all that with you, what's your reflection on that?
Restfulness has always been a little bit of an issue with me. I have a lot of trouble meditating. I usually blame ADHD, but honestly, I just generally have a little trouble with gaining the focus and the restfulness required. I can get there, but usually in that space, I end up with the urge to fill the space with doing something. I always need to be doing a thing. So I guess lately I've been on a drive lately where I always want to be doing something with myself. And yeah, yeah, I guess I've been doing a lot of reflection work or trying to, but I'm usually end up putting that off in favor of doing something new. So a lot of the restfulness is what I'm skipping.
Yeah. What do you already know about this part of you that needs to fill that space?
Well, I'm not sure. I know, I guess I've always had, in a sense, a feeling that I can't live up to expectations. And I do tend to be quite a bit of a people pleaser. So altogether, I guess I've just developed the idea that I need to be doing something in order to be productive. And I guess that in an underlying sense, I've sort of decided that rest is not productive.
Yeah. I'm curious about growing up, right? For you as a young girl, because we put these beliefs in place and these compulsions, these aversions that keep us safe. And so you're leading me back to this little girl that put this practice in place. And what do you know about this little girl? Like, where did she come up with the belief that she needed to be busy? She needed to always be doing things. She needed to prove herself to others in order to receive love.
Well, I think it stems probably from an early childhood thing. My biological mother was an alcoholic, and I know that she was very neglectful. She left us alone a lot and left us exposed a lot. And I think I tried to get her attention a lot. And the same thing carried over when my grandmother and aunt adopted me and co-raised me. It was a funny thing when my grandmother passed away. I felt like if I didn't give my aunt enough love, essentially God would take her away. Just like that was a thing I needed to do in order to keep what I wanted. It was like a karmic sort of cycle. Like if I give enough, I won't lose something or I'll get this attention that I desire. So I think that's probably where that comes from.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, right? When that little girl isn't loved and nurtured and given attention just because she is, for no other reason that she's just this beautiful child, deserving of everything. And what happens is, like, just the way that you're talking about it, I can tell you have explored her. You are familiar with this part of you.
Yes, I've done a lot of work in that actually.
Yeah. So she is the one that when you are now building this business, building this dream, she's essentially going to be the one who's calling the shots because she's still active in you. And she's going to tell you that you have to do it just this way and do all these things and jump through all these hoops. And then maybe you can have it. Maybe you won't lose it. Maybe the dream will come true. And what I see for you is there's a reparenting place here, right? Where you get to soothe her. You get to show her something different because she can't let you sit still. To her, sitting still equals everything being lost and her being unloved. So, yeah, it's going to be working with her in this place to help her understand a different truth, to help her understand a different story, right? Like you get to be her parent now. And invitation that, like, I see you in this practice with her, right? Like okay, I want to meditate. And you go to sit down, and then it's like, yeah, but you should be, maybe you could do the dishes, or maybe you want to work on that website thing, or maybe you could call somebody, like, right? That pattern that's going to pop up rather than taking it at face value. It's seeing that she is the one that's saying that. And I see you like you're sitting there and she's sitting next to you. And you're both going to sit next to each other and meditate. And then she's going to poke you and be like, it's time to do the dishes. And then you get to soothe her and you get to help her in that moment. I love you. I'm here with you. It's okay. Right? Like, I got you. I got you. I love you. And then you sit with her and you let the silence and the stillness hold you. And then she's going to poke you again and she's going to say, hey, but what about this? And then you just keep repeating this practice of, I love you. I love you. And you teach her that she does not have to do anything to be loved.
It's actually resonating perfectly with me. I've been looking into inner child work a little bit lately, and the thing that I've been putting off the most is dealing with all of the things from early childhood. I even attempted to bring it up with my therapist, and she said as long as it's not causing any debilitating problems at the time, it's not important enough to work on, which, in my opinion, was not the right approach, especially for a therapist. So, yes, I've been really, really wanting to work on that lately and just sort of been putting it off. And for one, a lack of know-how of how to approach it. And two, for the obvious, I guess, underlying fear of change, the fear of doing the work. So, yeah, I can actually see myself using the ball that I'm going to get to do this process, even because part of why I want to get it is to improve my meditation, improve my focus, improve my reception, just give myself something to focus on and to essentially work on things like this. So it would be a really nice process to combine, just trying to be still, because that's what it's going to require is for me to just sit and be still and stare.
Yeah. And this is a really wise part of you that I want to touch on here is like when that therapist offered her opinion to you, you knew that that was not correct for you. And this is a part of you to follow. This is a part of you to cultivate, right? You hold so much wisdom in you. And cultivating that, working with people that honor that in you is going to be really important for you. And maybe it's time for a new therapist, right? Like, no discredit to her or anything. Just maybe she's not the right fit anymore. This happens, right? We outgrow the people that are supporting us. And then it's like the universe saying, like, okay, it's just time, Meaghan. It's time for someone new. Let me bring that person to you.
Yeah, there was actually, now that you bring it up, there was a place I already wanted to check out that was recommended a while back. And once you brought it up, I kind of saw that place. So maybe, yeah, maybe change up my therapist a little bit and get a different, fresh perspective. Someone who will help me start digging deeper because my therapist doesn't want to necessarily dig deeper. She just wants me to be happy and healthy in the now, which I understand. But I've essentially achieved that. And I'm ready to start working on the really deep issues that I carry. And so, yeah, maybe it's time to change up. It's an entirely different building, too. So, as long as I take my insurance, I shouldn't have any problem. And it was recommended by my caseworkers who is a better therapist than my therapist.
My sense is that this particular therapist possibly has her own inner child wounds that she's not willing to look at yet. So there's no way she can hold that space for you. And that's just where she's at in her journey, right? She's led you to this moment that it's now time for something different for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because circling back around to where we started with your dream and the shop you want to own and embody and thrive in, it's related, right, to this part in you because you have to deeply, deeply believe in yourself and what you're capable of. And then that will translate into the physical. And you going deeper with your little girl is going to shift who you are. It's going to shift your reality. It's going to make you more empowered. It's going to give you a different perspective of the way the world works. And it's in the pauses that spirit can do something for us. Because if you're too busy because your inner child is just constantly making you go, 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 where does God drop in there? Where's that place for the magic to happen? But when you start to unravel the threads, right, and the stitching that the little girl put in to keep her safe, you can weave something different.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm. So they feel related for you.
Yes, that definitely sounds like the truth.
Mm-hmm. How can I support you from here?
I'm not sure. We've sort of touched on everything that I came here to, but I'm not sure what to discuss at this point.
Well, how about for closing, let me just see if there's any other messages for you or anything else that they want you to know. And the image they're showing me is like spilled cans of paint. And the message of as you are diving in, right, to this really rich territory of your young childhood, to really pay attention to the places where you want to look at what you did wrong or look at the places where you should have been different or done better or oh, why did I do that, right? Like we tend to shame ourselves and guilt ourselves when we go back and look at these tender places. And so the invitation is to really go in there with love and compassion.
And allow the mess.
Right. Allow the mess. Beautifully put. Yes. The mess is like the freedom.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. Does this feel like an okay place to land today?
Yes, it does.